Welcome back, guys, to yet another World of Warcraft video for the War Within. Today we are talking about an addition to yesterday's video, which was a Storm Dust Shuffle. I talked about the fact that you could buy greens off the auction house to actually disenchant them with the proper build in enchanting to actually shuffle yourself into quite a lot of profit. If you haven't watched that video, make sure that you go and check that out, because this is kind of like a follow-up or an addition to that video. So to make it make sense, make sure you check that out. I'll probably post a link down to that video down in the description below, so make sure that you check that out. Probably also in the pinned comments. But anyway, before we do get into the video, make sure that you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel with all the notifications on, and let's get straight into it. So in the process of actually buying a bunch of these greens, we've had a lot of lag on the auction house, and that actually lowers the gold per hour by quite a lot with something like this. Additionally, it is also a situation with making it just annoying to try and buy things, because, you know, there's errors buying stuff. Sometimes you can't do it. And then, you know, if you can only play during prime time, it's not the most fun thing in the world. So I was, you know, going a little bit deeper into all of the, green pieces of gear that you could actually make in professions. And for the War Within, at the moment, the only thing you can make right now that are green pieces of gear are profession tools. Now, as for the testing and what I looked at yesterday, the absolute cheapest thing that you can craft is going to be one of the profession tools that cost a core alloy in blacksmithing. These are easy to get. You get them very early on. It doesn't matter whichever one you make. I'm just making the proficient blacksmith's hammers. Here's the thing, right? One core alloy will cost you 10 bismuth, right? And then there's the echoing flux, which is just a vendor material. It costs almost nothing. It's like maybe using a 2 or 3 gold. But for the bismuth itself, that's 10, right? But you also have the chance of proccing resourcefulness and multicraft, and that's obviously for the core alloy. And then when you're making the actual proficient blacksmith's hammers, then you have the chance of proccing resourcefulness yet again. So for this setup, I actually have 2 quality 5 tools, and one is for multicrafting and one is for resourcefulness. When I'm crafting the core alloys, I have the multicraft on. When I'm crafting the actual hammers, the gear, I have resourcefulness on. Now, another thing that will also make this better, considering quality doesn't do anything to the disenchanting materials we get out of a green piece, we are just trying to make as many rank 1s as we possibly can. And the way that I've been able to decide on this build is in Everburning Forge. Everburning Forge is one of the new cooldowns in blacksmithing, and what this does is it gives you a temporary buff for 10 minutes to your ingenuity, multicraft, and resourcefulness. Now, when you use these, you should only ever use them when you're crafting your core alloys, right? If you're not doing big investments into this shuffle, you can also use it for these, but considering this is impacted by multicraft and resourcefulness, that is the best time to use these, okay? The absolute best time, not even a question in my mind. If you don't want to use the Artisan's Acuity, you can also just not do that, you know, because it's still going to be good regardless. I've decided to put 20 points first into this is multicraft to increase how much we can actually get out of Everburning Ignition. But again, if you don't actually plan on using Everburning Ignition, even though you should, because this is just an alt that I do this on, then it doesn't matter much to you. But I would go for multicrafting first and then resourcefulness. Now, when we're done with that, we're going to move into means of production. We're going to move into fortuitous forges, because we actually unlocked the first suspect at 15 points in, and over here we can increase what do you call it? We actually get some multi-crafting points. Here it is. Right, here it is. Gain 15 multi-craft when you're crafting alloys and learn the final suspect. This actually doesn't do much else because this is just skill, right? So who cares? We're only here for the multicraft. So unless you want to use this alt for something different, that's actually most of what you can get out of it. Because if you put points into this, you only get skill. And these are just gear crafting, so we don't care about that. So after that, you have a perfect build for it. Now, as for the actual crafting cost prices on these, I can't tell you what these are because it depends on profession gear that you have. It depends on how big the portions are, but you can go based on the percentages that you have, right? If 10 bismuth at the moment would cost, say, 40 gold, then you're crafting this for like 42, 43 gold. As for what I can tell, yesterday I did about 1,600 of the crafts of the core alloy, and I got 1,900. So that means I procced around 300, which is very good. That's very good. And then additionally, when I'm going to be crafting these proficient blacksmith's hammers, I'm going to get another 16% resourcefulness, which is about the same. And since resourcefulness, when it procs, it's only going to resourcefulness proc on the core alloy, like there's nothing else it can proc on. So when we get one of those procs, it actually just makes it a free craft, which is kind of like multi-crafting, but also not really. The way that I've kind of figured it out is when I have a purchase price of about 41-ish gold, with those, with resourcefulness in mind and multicraft in mind, I can actually get down to like a 355, 360 gold crafting cost. And that is including the actual bonus procs that we get, okay? So you could consider that profit, but I consider it crafting cost because when I move these over to my main, I will actually be disenchanting them. Now, whether or not this is worth it for you is something that you're going to have to check yourself when you're actually watching this video, because, we don't know what prices are going to look like at this point. I also don't want to say, oh, this is the gold per hour, this is how much you're going to make. This has been, however, very lucrative for me. And if you guys have any questions, make sure that you drop those down in the comments below as well. I'd love to talk about it. Also, this is just one situation, right? Tailoring, leatherworking, and engineering all have green profession gear pieces that they can actually craft. Now, right now, the thing is, right, bismuth is going to give you the cheapest way of making one of these tools, but the other professions could also get to a point where they could be the cheapest. So just blindly crafting this forever and ever and ever without following up on the other material markets for the other professions is not something you should do, okay? So every couple of days, especially this early on, I absolutely recommend people do not just blindly believe that this is the cheapest way to make it. And if you can buy greens that are like 350 gold or under on your realm, if you can get them cheaper on the auction house so you can actually craft them and it's not super lacky, that's still what you should do, right? That's still, you could get an absolute landslide of gold out of that. Now, the actual prices on Stormdust have moved up quite a lot, and they've also moved down quite a lot in the last couple of days. So make sure you check your prices. And I can't, again, we don't have fully exact numbers yet on the Stormdust for the rank 1s, 2s, and 3s because the RNG between them is so huge that it's a little hard to tell. Based on what I've been able to find, at least so far, is when I disenchant about 120 or 124 of these greens in my bags on my main, I get about the same amount of Stormdust and a lower amount of the quality 3 dust, right? So the quality 1 and 2, I get the same amount ish, and then quality 3 is a bystander. But overall, it seems like the what you trade one piece of crafted gear for is about 2.5 to 3 Stormdust. The average is really hard to reach because say that you only do 20, right? You could get really unlucky and only get a bunch of rank 1s, and the amount of Stormdust that you can get is 1 to 6, right? So if you only do 20, you could just get 1 a bunch of times, but you could also get really lucky and get 4, 5, or 6 a bunch of times in the higher ranks. But I hope that makes sense. Again, if you want to check out the enchanting build that this actually helps, make sure that you check out the video that I linked down in the description. It is a follow-up to yesterday's video. I hope this video is something that you guys can use and make great amounts of gold. I have a bunch of other videos coming, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel and put all the notifications on. If you did make it to this point, make sure that you type soda down in the comments below, because I have one in front of me and I'm going to drink it right after this video is done. So that's about it. But thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one.